Why do Democrats fear the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge? I know the answer. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Henry, and this is Conservative Commentary, where we spread the MAGA message. I'd like to ask you for a favor before we jump into this discussion. If you would, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment and share the video and ring the bell for notifications. That really helps us grow the channel and get the message out. Now, from the heart of the America First movement, one thing is becoming crystal clear. Democrats don't hate the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge, because it's ineffective. They hate it because it's effective. Effective at rooting out waste, corruption, and perhaps most importantly, the endless money laundering schemes that funnel taxpayer-backed funds through so-called non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, and these go straight into liberal political machines. Now let's break this down. Doge's mission is simple: cut the fat, expose the fraud, and make sure taxpayer dollars are serving the American people, not political insiders. But the moment it began asking tough questions about where federal grants and taxpayer dollars were ending up, the left's outrage machine kicked into high gear. Why? Well, because the left's money pipeline depends on it. The recent revelations about the San Antonio-based nonprofit Family Endeavors have exposed yet another example of the Biden administration's mismanagement and wasteful spending. This organization secured a staggering $18 million per month from the Department of Health and Human Services to operate a migrant facility in Pecos, Texas, a facility that has reportedly been empty since March of 2024. This is egregious misuse of taxpayer dollars, and it is emblematic of the broader inefficiencies that have plagued previous administrations and their approach to immigration and border security. Despite the facility's lack of use, Family Endeavors continue to receive exorbitant payments, highlighting a blatant disregard for fiscal responsibility. Moreover, the organization's financial windfall is alarming, with revenues skyrocketing from $8.3 million in 2020 to over $520 million in 2023. Compounding the scandal is the involvement of a former U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement, or ICE, official, and get this, a Biden transition team member who reportedly played a role in securing this lucrative contract for Family Endeavors. This revolving door between government agencies and private contractors raises serious ethical questions about conflicts of interest and the integrity of federal contracting processes. Now, the Department of Government Efficiency, under the leadership of Elon Musk, has rightly terminated this wasteful contract, saving taxpayers over $215 million annually. However, this incident only underscores the urgent need for comprehensive oversight and reform to prevent such abuses in the future. Now, it is imperative that we hold accountable those who have profited from these misdeeds and ensure that our government's resources are allocated effectively to safeguard our nation's borders and uphold the rule of law. Now, here's another example. Take Act Blue Charities. It claims to be a fundraising platform, but in reality it operates as a giant money laundering system for left-wing causes. Money raised for charity is quickly rerouted into supporting Democrat campaigns, ballot harvesting operations, and progressive social engineering projects. Then there's the Tides Foundation. It's a leftist ATM disguised as philanthropy. It receives millions from anonymous donors and NGOs and conveniently redistributes the funds to organizations pushing progressive policies that align, of course, with Democrat political goals, all while enjoying tax-exempt status. Hey, do you remember Stacey Abrams, the failed Democratic gubernatorial candidate in Georgia? She headed a foundation that had exactly $100 in the bank when it received a $2 billion grant from the Biden administration. The Power Forward communities received the money purportedly for the purchase of green energy appliances in impoverished areas. But we all know that it was paying for her ground troops and keeping them together for the next statewide race in Georgia. And let's not forget George Soros's Open Society Foundation. While they claim to promote democracy and human rights, the reality is far murkier. They've poured billions into progressive advocacy groups, local DA races resulting in soft-on-crime policies, and voter mobilization efforts that just happen to tilt heavily toward Democrat stronghold. Now, one other contract I'd like to point out. Did you realize that Michelle Obama, who left the White House in 2017, has been receiving $11 million a year for upkeep of the vegetable garden that no longer exists? That contract has just been eliminated by Doge. Well, enter Doge. For the first time, there's a federal watchdog with teeth. And the Democrats can't stand it, because when Doge pulls back the curtain, Americans start seeing where their money really goes. Here's a spoiler alert. It's not to roads or schools or public safety. It's partisan activism disguised as charity. The recent Doge report on federal grants flagged over $600 million in questionable disbursements to NGOs that had clear political affiliations. The left's response? Smear campaigns, lawsuits, and endless cries of authoritarianism. But the real authoritarianism is forcing taxpayers to fund political operations they never agreed to support. Democrats don't hate Doge because it's inefficient. They hate it because it threatens to expose the shadowy web of money that keeps their machine running. If Doge continues doing its job, Americans might finally see the truth. The left's non-profit industrial complex isn't about charity, it's about power. And power is the one thing they'll do anything to protect. What do you think? Please let us know your thoughts in the comments.